Hello, everyone. My name is Santosh Borse. I'm a senior engineer at IBM Research. I work in a data engineering team. Our team is tasked with preparing and processing data for IBM's own large language model called IBM's Granite family of models. Data is the most important aspects of large language model. I think we are going in the reverse order here. We spoke about the guardrails, standards, and now we are going to a lower level that 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 explains the why these models has all these issues as like bias and profanity issues is because the data it has trained on has all those issues. So models are merely a statistical representation of data those it is trained on. Processing and preparing data for LLM training is one of the most important and time-consuming aspects. At IBM, we built a data processing framework to process large data at scale using transformation modules to assess and enhance the quality of data which is going under training for large language model. We call the tool and framework as Data Prep Kit. Last year, we open sourced this project, and this year it became part of a Linux Foundation. You must have heard this phrase many times, data is the new oil. It signifies the importance of the data, that it is as important as oil in last century. But if you see it in other way, it also means that the oil in its original form is not very useful. It needs to be cleaned, it needs to be filtered, it needs to be transformed to bring a value out of it. And the same is true for data. In its original form, it is hardly of any use. It also needs to be collected, cleaned, transformed, and filtered to get refined value from it. And internet is the largest repository we have ever created. The advent of LLM era is largely attributed to availability of vast amount of data these large language models are trained on. Common Crawl is one of the organization, they crawl the internet. They maintain the largest repository of internet data starting from 2007. All the large language model we have has a large percentage of their data comes from a Common Crawl. Processing this large amount of unstructured data is a huge challenge, and it is a challenge which all the data engineering team faces. Working with data scraped from all over the internet presents unique challenges. Notably, a significant portion of data is machine generated. It's a lorem ipsum or a pornographic in nature. The quality of data is the single largest factor for large language model. Hence, most of the time of a model lifecycle is spent in cleaning and enriching data before it becomes ready for large language model training. Data engineering team usually starts with terabytes of data. They do all these different kinds of processing. So these are the characteristics of data which is required for large language model. It's usually in a large quantity because quantity is required for models to become more general. It needs to be high quality because it's a garbage in, garbage out. It needs a fair representation. As we saw about model guardrail, the reason it needs a guardrail is because the data has all those issues, and those model, because that's the data used for the training, model has actually learned those things. It needs a free of hate speech, abuse, profanity, because if you see all the models a couple of years ago used to go wild after a couple of interaction because they had, obviously they didn't have these guardrails, but another is there was not clear established engineering practices for cleaning and processing the data. Data should be general enough to teach model how to react in different situations. Wherever there is gaps, a synthetic data needs to be created to bridge those gaps. Another issue with the internet data is there is a huge duplication. The same content appears in one or different forms across internet, and it needs safe and secure. There's a lot of malware and bad quality data there on internet. So importance of these characteristics vary model to model. For example, for some models, some area is important. For other models, like for us, at IBM, all of these characteristics are extremely important. Preparing and processing data for LLM is like creating this gourmet recipe. Like master chefs create these recipes, they need to uh, uh, create a right balance of spices, sweetness, acidity, and texture. Likewise, a good data recipe, we need a balance across domains, language, tones, safety, and formats. As master chefs are entitled for the best tools, data engineering teams are also entitled to have the best tool for processing data. And data prep kit is that tool, which data engineering teams can use to quickly design and refine best data for their own LLMs. At IBM, when we started working on having our own large language model, we started with processing data, and we face all these challenges which I mentioned in the previous slides. We built a framework and a toolkit called Data Prep Kit to overcome these processing challenges. We run these data processing on large Kubernetes cluster at IBM, where we run thousands of CPU cores to process terabytes of data. Using DPK, we are able to conduct hundreds of ablation studies and to come up with the best performing data recipe. DPK can be used to prepare data for pre-training, post-training, RAG use cases, or any other data processing which involves unstructured data. We also support dockling, which is one of the transforms we have. DPK has buffet of transforms. There are 35 built-in transforms we have. Transform is a individual processing unit. For example, there is a transform for removing personal information from the unstructured data, or there is a transform for detecting the language of the content. For data quality, we have a doc quality transform which understands the content of the data and gives us the quality of the data in terms of a number. There is also a transform for readability, which scans the content and gives us the score, which scores maps to a fifth grader to a professional level. And then based on that, we can select different kinds of data based on the requirements. There are code quality transforms. We support two modalities, code and language. Code is for code programming kind of models, and language is for the regular large language model. So we have this 35 built-in transforms. More are being contributed as we speak. And along with that, there is also a bring your own transform, where you can bring your own transform if the existing transform does not meet your needs. Or you can extend the existing transform to create a fresh transform from it. The framework for data prep kit is built for scaling. So you can run any transform on your laptop as well as on a large cluster. It doesn't need any change or configuration when you run it. So writing your own transform also does not involve any scaling logic. Scaling logic is a part of a framework. And we have abstracted it inside the framework so that developer who writes the transform just focus on the Python code. And using data prep kit, we prepared this 10 trillion token data set, which is also an open data set. There's a link to this data set, and it's a The recipe of this data set is in the form of notebook, is also open source. So anybody can go use that notebook to generate their own data set, which is this nice web data set. It's a 10 trillion token data set, one of the highest quality data set available up to date. And here are the features of data prep kit. It is tried and tested at IBM. We have 36 plus built-in transforms. Developers can come and bring their own transforms. And the most important thing is we need you. We need contributors. It's a fairly new project, so we need contributors for fixing bugs, new transform, improving documentation, adding more sample notebooks. So nothing is out of scope here. So if you are considering open source contribution, this is the project. Thank you.